Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Morning, Ellen. I can see your comments right away. New software working out. Morning. Friday. Freedom Friday. Freedom Friday. Well, yeah, I don't know if it's Freedom Friday. Might be Scarcity Friday. Good morning. Good morning. We're talking about scarcity today. We really got to resolve some things. We got places to be, people. Human race has places to be. We don't have time for silly, dumb stuff no more. It's time to grow up. Got somewhere to be. Good morning, Valerie and Kelly and Jennifer. Ellen Fashion. But Ellen, I'm not tied. I don't get to do fashion. I have no fashion. Zero fashion. No fashionability whatsoever. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I love the bagpipes too, Kelly. Ooh. Kelly, are you the one who sent me the Irish law history? I don't know if that was you or somebody else. Somebody sent me down a delicious path. Powerful. Powerful pre-colonization law. Top of the morning, Brenda, Lisa, Kim, Devaki, good morning, good morning. We're going to talk about scarcity today. I asked a question on my timeline, to be honest with you. I didn't even look to see if anybody responded yet. I have no idea. I think I posted about 5G yesterday. People got mad at me. They were talking about, nobody liked the, I think I had 0 likes. I finally did my first, I got like 0 likes on my post about 5G. Like, aren't y'all ready for 5G? We got fast downloading internet. We're gonna get rid of internet scarcity. We're gonna get rid of broad bandwidth scarcity. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I feel like those bears should be wearing kilts. They should. They're our relatives. They're all our relatives. We're all related. I could at least wear a hat. I could wear a hat. Why would I wear a hat? I can't wear hats, Ellen. Hats don't fit on my head. My head is too little. My head, it drowns in hats. I look like a child in hat. I look silly. I don't wear no hats. My shirt's fashionable? Oh no, Kelly. This shirt is not fashion. This shirt is old. Old. Kelly, this shirt is so old it came back into fashion. That's why. That's the only reason why you think it's fashionable. Can't see the tatters in the holes. All right, good morning, good morning. Everything comes back into fashion. Good morning, good morning. Pat in the house and Kimberly. Brother Joe. Forget the likes. Forget the likes, the game is rigged. Forget the likes, the game is rigged, just shine like the sun. Yes, absolutely. We have to stop being a like world. Y'all need to watch Black Mirror. There's an episode about likes. Y'all need to check that out. See where we're going. Grandpa shirt. Yes, boy, bro, I got it. Ward got it. Ward, you know what? We had the same grandfather, Ward. That's the problem. All right, there we go. We had the same grandfather. My grandfather wore these shirts. You know what the only difference is, Ward? Hold on, wait. Y'all know grandpa. Because grandfathers, when they wore these shirts, there was nothing in the pockets. Grandpa wore the shirt. You had something in this pocket. Mine had, what he had? He had tobacco. Had some tobacco in this pocket, some pins over there, some nails and fishing hooks and... all right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're talking about scarcity today. I asked some questions. I was watching something the other day. It kind of blew me away. Wait, where's YouTube at? It was a real simple comment, really straightforward, simple point. Tons of actually good news out there today. Not good news. It's all bad. Most of it's bad because most of it's just scarcity side effects. Like, there was a comment in a lecture I watched, which I loved, and they basically said that scarcity is the source of all conflict. And it is. Totally is. Totally is. I don't know if there's ever been a case in history that somebody was violent and they didn't trace it back to some sort of scarcity related epigenetic survival gene, environment, abuse, something, not enough food, water, something, because scarcity will get you killed. Scarcity is getting everybody killed. So if scarcity is the basis of all conflict, can somebody answer me the question, Why do intelligent people fight conflict with conflict? Why? What is it with our intellects that's not getting this? The other question I have is about the media. So the media, and we talk about it a lot. I got a friend who used to be a journalist a long time ago, back before the news became 24/7, and they broke it, where the news was just the news. And now the news became entertainment. But one of the things I'm noticing is, and this is why I don't like the news. Why don't I like it? I don't like it because it gets annoying. It gets annoying. It gets annoying to hear about the side effects of a problem that was resolved a long time ago, scarcity. And I'm thinking that the media is basically a scarcity side effect profitable broadcasting industry. All they do is they make a lot of money broadcasting the side effects of scarcity. That's it. War, rape, violence, whatever's craziness is going on in the world, it's all just a side effect of scarcity. It's like, that's why I got the bears behind me. For those of y'all who don't, most of my friends already know what scarcity is, and it's artificial scarcity at that. But you can go and take pictures of the bears when they're at the lake. And there's plenty of salmon. And they don't have nothing to do with you. Because one, you stink. The other thing is you ain't got a lot of meat on you. They don't have a lot of fat. They don't want you. They want a berry bush or they want some salmon. As long as the berry bush and the salmon are fine, bears don't want to eat you. Same thing with human beings. All violence comes from scarcity. But our biggest problem is we fall into these traps. We fall into these traps. And I want to, actually, I have some news clips I got to show you, because the news, it convicts itself, which is the funniest thing. It convicts itself all the time. But you can actually go down international world news and just go scarcity, side effect, scarcity, side effect, scarcity, side effect, scarcity, side effect, scarcity, side effect. And that's all they talk about. And they make money off of the problem never being resolved. Like one thing I like to say here in my country, most laws are written simply to make industry out of problems. And that's it. They make industry out of problems. They pay off some business with a problem. They give the law a good name. But if you go back and read the law, you'll find out they made the actual problem profitable. And so this is why very little things get solved in America, because the people don't read the law enough to realize that, and the legislators don't read the law either. That's the sick thing. So nothing gets resolved. And so scarcity around the world doesn't get resolved because we don't talk about it. The news doesn't talk about it. The news talks about the side effects. Why? Because the side effects can get people who don't read and process information into an argument and a disagreement over the side effects. And so you fight conflict with conflict, but you actually never resolve the scarcity. And so conflict never goes away. Violence goes nowhere. News is like 10% fact, 90% manipulation, opinions. Exactly, Ward. We broke the news. And I don't always want to blame the media and go hit straight at the news, because the reality is that we broke the news too. We do our part. We do our part by liking it, sharing it, talking about conflict, talking about how we're going to resolve conflict with conflict, instead of doing the root cause analysis and saying scarcity is the source of all of this crap. Let's get it to go away. But nature's all around us. We got the examples everywhere. Look at the bears. The bears ain't chewing on me right now. They don't care that I'm here. He's about to get that. Now, mind you, if he don't get that salmon and the salmon swim the other way, we're in big trouble. So I want to jump. I do want to jump to the news. I got tons and tons and tons of articles. I don't think we're going to get through all of it, but I'm going to show you what I can. Some real interesting things. And I think we convict ourselves. Well, no, we don't. The news convicts itself. Check this out.
Geographic has admitted it went too far, linking a starving polar bear with climate change, saying, in fact, there was no way to know for certain why that bear was dying.
Remember this bear?
National Geographic went too far in drawing a definitive connection between climate change and a particular starving polar bear. There is no way to know for certain why this bear was on the verge of death.
It's a sad picture no matter what the reason, but Polly Boyker looks at how simply swapping the caption opened a whole new angle on the story.
You might remember these heart-wrenching pictures of a starving polar bear looking for food. National Geographic ran them back in 2017 with a big caption claiming that this is what climate change looks like. The images went viral. The photographers estimate over 2 billion people saw them. On YouTube alone, the video got 1.5 million views, and it also became one of the most viewed videos on National Geographic's websites. But it turns out that the photographer's original caption didn't make an explicit link to climate change.
I'm gonna stop there. I'll post the link. You can watch the rest of the news. Look at this. This is crazy. So the photographer took the picture and captioned it. This is what starvation looks like. National Geographic buys it and they change it to this is what climate change looks like. Why would they do that? Why in the world would they do that? Because they know it's a trigger word. They know there's an agenda that can be tied to it. And the agenda doesn't address the scarcity. So the bear is starving. And now, mind you, I'm not anti-climate change. I'm not pro-climate change. Everybody who watches me knows my position. I am anti-migration change, right? The planet, the weather always changes. People should be allowed to migrate from bad places to places where there is food. But the point was, the bear was starving. So instead of getting to the point of why that bear is starving, why there is scarcity there, why that polar bear would eat the heck out of you if you actually walked over there, we don't do any investigation as to why it's starving, because there is a climate change agenda. This is how this works. Now, did I trigger anybody by saying climate change? That's the first thing I want to know. Because that's a trigger word. Here you got to have your trigger locks on, right? Climate change is a deal. It is something to do. I just don't think we fight over who did it. I think we always prepare for it. That way it doesn't really matter who did it. We prepare the human beings, the planet, the polar bear. We find out what's going on, but the media manipulates. And this is a great, great example of how. And so now I think they went back and they changed the caption. You can watch the rest of the article, because what happened is the photographers came out and said, National Geographic's lying. This is wrong. This is not what we said. This was starvation, because they try to, it's no different than manipulating the data for climate change. Just let's be honest. Let's just talk about the truth. They lied about the data. Doesn't mean climate change isn't real. Doesn't mean the climate's not changing. The natural environment's telling us the climate's always changed, but it avoids scarcity. It ignores the scarcity of what's going on. And if it is, Brenda, if it is somebody manipulating the climate, if it's HARP or the government playing these dumb, silly games, if it's over hunting or whatever it is, we have no idea, and we'll never find out, because we're already off fighting the side effect. Fighting the side effect, probably with other side effects. Focus on the scarcity, the source of all conflict. There's something else I want to show you. So I thought that was interesting. There was a great question, because reparations is a discussion now. I don't know if y'all know this. I was watching, there's another, is it Germany? Y'all in trouble. Germany, y'all in trouble. Y'all bad. Y'all been bad. Y'all been bad. Y'all been colonizing the whole world with everybody else. And why do I get back to the colonizers when I talk about scarcity? Because they came to everybody's town. And I love the Irish example. I don't know who sent that me, the Irish law. I appreciate that. I want to know about all of my ancestors. But it was important to know that they lived in relative peace. They had very few laws. There wasn't much scarcity in Ireland until England showed up, which, you know, it's not against, not everybody in England. It's only the 2% at the time. That's probably now the 0.01%, the psychopaths that always hide in these big labels, which is why I'm against all labels. And so you say, Britain was the colonizers. No, it's not. Everybody colonized. Everybody has psychopaths in them. The color of your skin and the place where you were born has nothing to do with you being a psychopath. The environment does. If you're raised by King George the 17th, 3rd, 5th, whatever he was, that's going to make you a psychopath. If you're raised in immense scarcity, the polar bear, he's going to be a psychopath. That's why that polar bear, if he has enough strength, it doesn't matter who comes in front of him. He's going to do anything he can to put you in his belly, because that's just what epigenetics does, but you got to do your homework. Something else I want to show you. So it's a topic, Germany. When and who did y'all did something bad. I asked a question. I asked a question about, we're going to talk about Namibia.
Elsewhere in the world.
I was asking a question about the statute of limitations. Is there a statute of limitations on rape? from a humanist perspective. I don't care about laws. Don't tell me about no international law. I don't want anybody that. Don't care. Don't care about your country's laws either. This is the human discussion. We do humanism here. Is there a statute of limitations, a point beyond prosecution for rape? Is there one for murder, for people, for citizens, for human beings? And is there one for nations, for countries? Is there one for genocide? Is there one for war? Is there one for invasions? So look at this. Let's watch this. All right, watch your triggers now. It is not triggered. This is not. Well, actually, you know what? Don't watch the triggers. Never mind. Never mind. Don't watch the triggers. I gotta stop saying that. Don't watch the triggers. If you're outraged, say you're outraged. We need to see that outrage. We need to know who you are. We have to talk to you about a few things. Now watch this.
Tribes in Namibia in southwest Africa are attempting to sue Germany. They're seeking compensation and official apologies for the alleged genocide by German colonialists over 100 years ago. Anisha Sethi takes up the story now.
Germany still shows signs of its dark imperial past. This is Luderitzstrasse, named after Adolf Luderitz. He established the very first colony, German Southwest Africa, also known as Namibia. In the early 1900s, German settlers violently seized land from local citizens, leading to one of the century's worst genocides.
The Herero nation must now leave the country. If it refuses, I shall compel it to do so with a long tube. Any Herero found inside the German frontier, with or without a gun or cattle, will be executed. I shall spare neither women nor children.
Stop there, post, you can watch the rest of it. Interesting. So now it's a legal approach to determining whether or not Germany is going to be held accountable. I think, well, I don't know what I think. This is what I know. I know rape and murder and killing people are bad. Apparently, this is not a secret in Germany. They still have the law in the book that talked about the wiping out of every man, woman, and child in this country. But this is where I wanted to get to with this discussion, because this was interesting. On this one, I went down and I looked at the YouTube comments. I never look at the YouTube comments. I avoid them like the plague. YouTube is just a bunch of trolls and craziness that I just don't have any interest in. I like to expand my mind and learn from people. I don't like to fight with people over dumb stuff that nobody knows, because you still think that a lot of things exist that don't exist. So one of the comments said, because this is really the reparation discussion, and the comment said something to the effect of, but what about white folks in Namibia, right? Because you have white folks who live there. Will they get any sort of reparations for what the colonizers did when they went and they did that genocide? I had to think about that. It was a deep question. I always avoid the YouTube comments, but that was pretty deep. And so I had to think about it. What does being white have to do with anything in Namibia? I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with something, because you got a lot of people probably there like here who actually think race is a real thing and not just genetics we all have. But if you were born with white skin in Namibia, does that mean that, one, you had relatives that actually did any of that? Two, even if you did, are you responsible for what your relatives did? Three, in my country, I know a lot of poor white folks who, let's say they had direct descendants back to slave owners. Is it their fault? Did they do it? Do they live in the same scarce society? Do they pay the same price, or do they pay a price, let's just say that, with everybody else that lives in this post-colonization scarce governing environment? I think that they do. Because I think if you're born in Namibia, you're Nambian. Is that a word? If you're born in America, then that's what you are, not in terms of the nation existing. I don't think the countries exist. I think that's all a bunch of colonizer bunk. I don't think America exists. But if you were born there and some really bad things happen there and they need to fix that area, how does it help to go and say, well, because you look like this, we're not going to take care of you, and you look like that, we are going to take care of you? Is that going to create more problems, or is that going to solve the problem? Is that going to deal with the scarcity that brought about the whole colonization and destroying everybody, right? Because Europe was scarce. And why in the world would people get on a boat to go do that? They will go do that because they can go steal it from somebody else because their kings and their lords wouldn't share with them. Scarcity. Are we trying to solve problems or are we trying to cause more problems? That was interesting. I think that Germany should pay. That's what I think. I don't think there's a statute of limitations on genocide or rape or murder. I think they should. But I think they should pay out not because of anything other than the wealth that was acquired in Germany. Same with America, same with France, same with the UK, everywhere else. Like, you guys know that picture where they showed how they basically scooped out South America, they scooped out Africa, and they're scooping out a lot of the Middle East, and they just dump it in these wealthy countries. Like, why am I sitting here on the internet drinking coffee with high software, laptop, all of this stuff, talking about this? How can I do this? I could have been born poor in Namibia. I could have been poor in the Congo, anywhere else. I could have been poor in Puerto Rico. I can do this because of all the resources stolen from those countries. And it brings about another good point, which is all of the artifacts that were stolen from those countries. Do those countries have rights to get those artifacts back, right? Because what did? They came there, they murdered. And when I say they came there, trust me, I'm not saying the Germans who are alive today, right? It's not the Germans, not the people. The people aren't the problem. It's the system. It's the banks and the bank accounts that still derive profit from the genocide, the murder and stealing everything that they did. So if they stole all of those resources and they stole all of the artifacts, if they have a right to get the artifacts back, because everyone seems to agree that they have a right to get the artifacts back. But what about any of the profits from the minerals that they stole after they murdered everybody who lived there? Think about that. I think it's a good one, because, and the funny thing is, where that discussion can lead you to is, okay, well, why is it just the Germans? But because before another tribe invaded and killed people who lived in Namibia and another blah 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 blah, and you can go back and forth because the history was everybody invading and killing everybody. That's why I say everybody has ancestors who were slaves and everybody has ancestors who actually enslaved. And so I think this could lead us, reparation discussions could probably lead us into a place where we talk about abundance, right? When we talk about, okay, so if everybody robbed everybody, what do? Get down to the root of it. You take the collective resources of the world and you provide for everybody. Imagine that. Imagine that. Oh, that's just not going to work. We can't do that. Well, number one, we can do it. I worked in those industries. Number one, we can do it. We don't want to do it. It's about scarcity. So look, I'm gonna show you something else. It's about scarcity. If all conflict comes out of scarcity, then people who want to keep scarcity, artificial scarcity, people who want to keep the model of the world the way it is, they want to keep conflict. I think we should stop calling it what it isn't. Call it what it is. You believe in colonization. You believe in keeping conflict alive. You believe in rape. You believe in murder. You believe in keeping those things going, as opposed to evolving the human race to the next level. I do want to show you something. Watch a Trump trigger. Y'all got Trump trigger? Hey, my Trump friends around here. Listen, watch the trigger. Watch this. Look at this. There's another one.
She asked you about Ivanka Trump's statement that the press is not the enemy of the people. And she asked you whether or not the press is the enemy of the people.
I don't know if you can hear the question. It sounds really low on my mic, but the press is asking her, is the press the enemy of the people? I already got my place. I already got my point. You might even know what it is. Is the press the enemy of the people? Let's let her answer.
A laundry list of your concerns about the press and things that you feel like are misreported, but you did not say that the press is not the enemy of the people. And I think it would be a good thing if you were to say right here at this briefing that the press, the people who are gathered in this room right now, doing their jobs every day, asking questions of officials like the ones you brought forward earlier, are not the enemy of the people. I think we deserve that.
I think the president has made his position known. I also think it's ironic. I'm trying to answer your question.
Okay, well,
I politely waited, and I even called on you despite the fact that you interrupted me while calling on your colleague. I said it's ironic.
Which is why I interrupted.
I'm trying.
But if you finish, if you would not mind letting me have a follow-up, that would be fine. But
It's ironic, Jim, that not only you and the media attack the president for his rhetoric, when they frequently lower the level of conversation in this country. Repeatedly, the media resorts to personal attacks without any content other than to incite anger. The media has attacked me personally on a number of occasions, including your own network, said I should be harassed as a life sentence, that I should be choked. ICE officials are not welcomed in their place of worship, and personal information is shared on the internet. When I was hosted by the Correspondents Association, of which almost all of you are members of, you brought a comedian up to attack my appearance and call me a traitor to my own gender. In fact, as I know, as far as I know, I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection. The media continues to ratchet up the verbal assault against the president and everyone in this administration, and certainly we have a role to play, but the media has a role to play for the discourse in this country as well.
And sir, if you don't mind,
Stop there. The media has a role to play for the discourse in this country as well. And to me, this is even fake news. Because they're basically saying is the press is the enemy of the people because they're talking about Trump, and they're talking about them specifically, that Trump is the savior of the people. I don't believe that. I don't believe none of that. But this is what I do believe. I think the press, let's say it another way. Let's say it another way. Journalists are not the enemy of the people, but journalists can be very stupid, right? So journalists, they can report on scarcity, or they can report on scarcity side effects. I don't really care about the arguing with Trump, like whether it's fighting with Trump or fighting with Obama or cheering Trump. These are still side effect issues in scarcity. You derive division, you create conflict, and you keep the world controlled by artificial scarcity. So absolutely, the media as an industry is the total enemy of the people, and probably always have been, because they keep resources from people that people need for conflict to go away. So absolutely, totally agree. But the journalists aren't. The journalists are just stupid. That's my problem with the journalists. The journalists are stupid, and they work for big corporations, which are the media, that actually keep the topics going on. They keep money rolling in on topics that will never fix anything, ever. That is by far, that links you to war. It links you to starvation. It links you to rape. It indirectly, I'll say it the nice way, it indirectly makes you a profit industry in the worst things that humanity can spit up. So but this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. I think the media totally is a profiteer organization on the side effects of scarcity. That's what I think. I'm gonna look at some comments. I know I was going, because I have a whole bunch of articles I want to show, but I do want to see some of the comments. Plummy K said Australia too. Absolutely. Same thing, Plummy K. Same thing. In Australia, we have societies that are based in artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence that UG is just talking about. So the reality is that we need to fix it. We can either keep it or we can fix it. Those are our only options. We don't have an option of debating about side effects. You keep debating about side effects. That's just, I want to keep it. I want to keep arguing about Trump. I want to keep arguing about whether or not Australia, the Aboriginal people, and what was done to them, and the people who came to Australia since. And it wasn't Australia like a prison colony or something at some point. So all of the destruction that colonization has done to the world, including Ireland, including Britain, right? Everybody has tribal relatives. Everybody goes back to some sort of tribal, more peaceful time where there wasn't as much scarcity. But I think they lie about a lot of it too. I think prior to colonization, they say things like, oh, well, you were pagans and there wasn't enough food, there wasn't enough anything. That didn't make any sense to me. Every time I look at one of the archaeologists looking back, I mean, they find some stuff, but they don't find like people are starving and dying on a consistent basis. Now, there are kings and lords who starve people on all continents, but I think we have to address it. So yeah, Australia too, but it's all around the world. But the thing is, how do they screw it up, Plummy K? They screw it up because they bring race into it. They screw it up because they bring the color of a person's skin and dumb stuff into it. They screw it up because they bring nationalism into it. They screw it up because they bring the modern people in that country into it. Remember, we were talking about the other day how psychopaths always hide in groups of other people. They're always a very small percentage, but they're phenomenal at getting really loving but ignorant people attacking a whole group of people or a whole country, when the really problem is just that little psychopath that owns the bank. The little psychopathic family in Germany that derived all the wealth from all of this. And so, but you attack Germany as opposed to the actual banks and the psychopath. I think we need to be more specific. That's why I don't like, again, I don't like the labels. I don't like Zionist. I don't like the nationalistic labels. I don't like any of that. I think that if we are more strategic with who we are targeting, then we can resolve problems. If you allow people to hide in these great groups and you still believe that, oh, white people are this and black people are that, Asian people are this, or Puerto Ricans are that, you still believe stuff like that, you're just as destructive as any racist. You are, because you're keeping today alive. You're keeping the side effects of scarcity going. Facebook doesn't like me. Listening, well, okay, somebody, y'all moving over to YouTube. Okay, go ahead. You can do what you want to do, Citizen Deb. I'm good with that. Let me see. Ish said, hi, everybody. Just watching All About Scarcity 2. Explains everything. YouTube, current geopolitical game plan for World War III explained on a world map. Boom. From Ish, from YouTube. She said hello. Let me see. Right. Okay, brother UG said, I said it right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I think it is. I think we got to talk about scarcity. I hated the way Jim talked down to her. You know what, Brenda? I didn't watch the whole press conference thing. I just watched the parts that I needed because I just want to get what I need, right? I want to get what fixes things, which is why I hate the news, because it's just side effect scarcity talk. Every time you look at the news, it's scarcity, or scarcity side effect, scarcity, or I'll say it a better way. Entertaining scarcity side effect, entertaining scarcity side effect, entertaining scarcity side effect, and you get two people on either sides, and we don't fix anything because everybody fights over the entertaining side of really bad things happening. Same way National Geographic did it, right? They whittled in climate change in a place where there was a solution that could have came about. They sent the criminals there to fight the Aboriginals. Yes, Lisa, yeah, something like that. I remember but isn't that kind of what they always do, right? Because who were the criminals back then? That's what we do today. Who were the criminals back then in the parts of Europe that invaded Australia? They were the poor people, right? Because in a colonized world, if you were poor, you're just a prison class. That's all. There is no lower class per se. You either starve slowly in scarcity or you do a crime, right? Because they always outlaw survival and they give you an option. Hey, you can go fight in the US military. You can go fight in the France military. You can go fight in the UK military. You can go fight in this military, go fight the Aborigines in Australia, or you can go to prison, or you can be hung. And of course, they'll go do that. And so, but that's a great example. Because what is that effectively? Slavery. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say because they were black. Stop. Shut up. Stupid. Listen. When you force someone to do things that they don't want to do, that's forced labor. That's force. That's slavery. That's a violation. It's violence. All right, let me see. I'm gonna keep going. There's something else. Oh, there was something else. Hang on. It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff this morning I thought was interesting. They convict themselves, but scarcity is the thing. And there was a good one I posted this morning from. Never mind. I'm gonna show it to you. We're gonna show it to you. I don't know that I got time to do all of this, but let me see. I'm gonna show you this one because this lady was deep. I posted it over on my page.
It's okay. The world can find out.
Hiroshima.
But what human suffering those bombs caused in those cities? That's what was
opinion. Why is it so hard for Americans? Why do Americans are so uneasy about owning up to the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings?
Well, I suppose even today, 73 years later, they must believe what they did was justifiable.
Okay, I got to stop here. I got to pause for a second and go back because you got to watch the whole interview. And so she's a survivor from Hiroshima, right? So she already explained what it was like. The day, what everybody was doing, it was a hot day. People had their shirts off, whatever. They were walking around. Bomb went off, murdered all of these people. She explained a lot of, what it was like to care for the people who were burned just beyond life and how they lived for 4 days, and you couldn't even tell who they were. They were just almost black balls of goo with legs and arms, and you had to feed them and care for them. She went through all of that, but you got to listen to the whole interview. She even went through the fact that all the surrounding cities were being bombed, but they didn't touch Hiroshima. She went through the facts that the reality was to them that Hiroshima was left off because they knew they were going to drop the bomb anyway. She went through the facts of how they were starving. The soldiers in Japan were starving. They couldn't defend themselves. Japan was already defeated, but the bomb got dropped anyway. Why would the bomb get dropped anyway? Because when you give militaries these weapons, when you give the kings and the lords these weapons, they get giddy. They're psychopaths. I can't wait to use the weapon. I can kill 100,000 people, and they're going to drop it. So she went through all of that. So this is where you got to, I'm not going to say take your trigger lock off, but take your label off. Oh, it's America. We went into war to fight Japan. They started it. First of all, Japan didn't start a damn thing. These are people. These are people who live in Hiroshima. These are kids, they're old people, and they're children. Their lords and kings aren't them. Remember, focus on the psychopath, not the groups of people that the psychopaths hide in. But unfortunately, that's what nuclear weapons do. Which brings about the conflict of actually letting the only country in the world that dropped the atom bomb actually talk about or lead nuclear proliferation. We're not going to go there. So I'm going to let her talk and let her give her perspective. So listen to that. I just wanted to set it up.
It was to be justified to end the war quickly and to rescue American GIs' lives. And that was okay. I think that mentality still continues, unfortunately. Not thinking people, though. I think many Americans woke up. It was such a atrocity, unacceptable, immoral, illegal act United States took. And many Americans are sorry about that. But as a state, as a nation, I guess they are too proud to apologize. I know apology was a very contentious or controversial issue. I feel if he offered it, we should have accepted it. We deserve to accept that. But he chose not to. And he couldn't have, I suppose, because of the political milieu in the States, especially during the presidential election time. But it's not totally inappropriate if he did offer that apology.
I'm gonna stop there. That was about Obama. Got your Obama trigger on? Got trigger lock? Or let it out. That's good too. So what she was basically talking about is how Obama went over there, and they were afraid he was going to apologize. He was the first president that actually went over there because he was told to. Didn't do it because didn't do it because he wanted to. He did it because it was just time for that, and the banks told him he could probably go do it. He had to go do it, but he refused to apologize because no one wanted him to apologize. Why wouldn't he apologize? Why would somebody in the United States not want a president to apologize for an obvious crime against humanity, murdering people, children and babies, and not apologize for it? Because it takes us to a discussion of whether or not nations can murder people. Not if you can murder people. You can't murder nobody. You can murder somebody, they will hang you. They will give you a lethal injection that will put you under the prison. But they want to keep the right to murder. They want to keep the right to invasion. And because like we talked about with Namibia. So if we actually entertain this as a real topic in the media, any real media significantly, that nations have to pay for the crimes that they do, that there is no statute of limitations on genocide and war and invasions, that means America would have to pay now. For what they're doing today, right now. That means the UK would have to, France would have to, all the rest of it. And so this is where we get on the sides of these colonizers and we start agreeing with taking away people's right to life. Right to life. Oh, but now we upset when it comes to abortion. Contradictions that's the good thing. about not accepting any labels for any damn thing. Because you don't have to get lost in the contradictions and a loss of integrity. Because all the sides are always divided up so that you actually won't ever be right on everything. You won't be right in terms of being a humanist. Right? Because that's what I am. I'm a humanist. I don't know what that means. I kind of sort of know what it means, but it's a big word, big word. But I believe in humanity, and I believe in just doing what's right is right. I believe that people should have a right to a house and land and food and water. I think in times of abundance, I agree with the professionals. Not that they need my agreement, because there's some damn professionals, the neuroscientists and the people who say, the behavioral scientists, that it's a lack of abundance that brings these things out. I apologize on a regular basis for the fact that I live such a privileged life in the West, and other people who just accidentally were born in a different part of the world, they have to suffer because of all this great stuff that I have, which is why I'm willing to give a lot of it up. That's why I'm willing to give a lot. That's why I gave a lot of it up. I walked away from a career working for big corporations, making them money, because my intellect isn't for them. My intellect is for humanity. That's why I do this. That's why I come on here. Not that I'm so great or nothing like that. I'm learning like everybody else, but there's so much to learn. You gotta, yes, brother Mike, you gotta be unaffiliated. Unaffiliated with the colonizers and unaffiliated with anybody. And then stop people when they try to affiliate you. Like, oh, you're this, you are a colonizer. No, I'm not. I'm in America. I'm in what y'all call America. But I'm not American from a invade the world perspective. I just actually live here. The crap that these lords and kings do, you need to go after the lords and kings. Something else I want, there's a whole bunch of good stuff this morning. Oh man, I was, I'm not even sure wherever to go next, but it all gets down related, because why do soldiers go fight? People want to blame the soldiers. Scarcity is why they always get the soldiers to go fight. Let me see. And then you got all the migration issues. You got immigration. No, this is what I want to talk. Oh, this one. This. All right, here we go.
Interesting dilemma, this next story. Brazil is considering
scarcity. Watch this.
A new law that would prevent isolated indigenous tribes from killing children that are disabled or simply for any other reasons not able to live within the groups. Some lawmakers, though, say that the traditions of these remote ancient communities should be protected any which way, and that the rules of modern society therefore shouldn't apply.
Digging out a buried child. She survived.
If I had remained there, I would certainly be dead.
You can't read the captions, you're driving or something, drive, focus on the road. What it's basically saying is that sometimes tribes kill babies that are born to single mothers or disabled children. They believe them to be bad omens. They know that they can't survive in the jungle. Scarcity, that's what it's saying. And campaigners are trying to stamp out the tribal custom, and they're making a law in Brazil.
Certain cultural practices here are incompatible with human rights. They need to be thwarted. There's no middle ground.
The most repressive and lethal actions ever perpetrated against the indigenous peoples of the Americas were unfailingly justified through appeals to noble causes, humanitarian values, and universal principles.
All right, so I'm gonna stop there. So, and I'll post, once again, you watch the whole thing, but scarcity, once again, so people, oh, you shouldn't be killing the babies. Well, I agree with you. I mean, that's, to me, it's very clear cut, very clear cut. I believe in self-determination, but, you know, y'all can let your abortion triggers do what they need to. When a baby has itself and its skin and it's outside and it's doing its thing, it's no longer you getting to determine anything for it. It has a right to live. And we can take those babies, which is the crazy thing, that people would adopt these babies all over the place. You know, but why is there even still scarcity in the jungle? So now you can get over to deforestation. You can get over to greed. Scarcity, the root cause problems of all of this. There's not enough to go around because they keep enough in their own pockets. Another problem that completely doesn't have to exist. But we talk about making laws and you can't kill your babies. What if you just solve the problem? I'm not saying don't make a law. I'm just saying, what if we actually talked about the problem, the scarcity? What if we actually talked about what's happening to their jungle? What if we actually talked about not going there and giving them the things that they need? What if we just talked about not taking certain people in those communities, because they talk about the women who don't want to be in those communities, the women who don't want to kill their babies, but it's a decision brought about because there's not enough to go around. What's happening to those tribes right there is no different than what's happening to America. The same reason that those tribes kill babies are the same reason that Americans are stealing sharks out of some damn aquariums. Same exact reason. Scarcity. The same reason people sign up and go fight in the military. Scarcity. Same exact reason. It's a post-colonized world. A complete post-colonized world that does not work at all. All right. I have a whole bunch of stuff to show, but that's kind of where I'm going. That's where I'm going, is the media is the enemy of the people. The media is the enemy of the world right now. The journalists aren't, but the media is. And the media, in its current form, it has to go away. It completely has to go away. They are a scarcity, side effect, profiting industry that is holding the evolution of mankind back. And it needs to stop. All right, I'm going to go just do comments now. I know y'all put a bunch of comments out there. I wasn't looking, but then I didn't get all there's a whole bunch more. There was a whole bunch of interesting stuff today. And I do my best to kind of parse through the news. I think Brother Miko was asking me the other day, talking about what was RT News, and operate as independent of the lies in this particular lords that run this government as possible. And so I always look at other things. So let me see. The U.S. knows what happened to Germany's reparations. There's never an end. Well, the U.S. I'm not sure what you're saying, Ish. The U.S. knows what happened to Germany's reparations. Did Germany get paid some reparations, or did Germany pay some reparations that I'm unaware of? Let me see. Plymouth K, to obfuscate. I love that word. To obfuscate for future occurrences. Absolutely. But this is how they drive us. They drive us and they keep us going through this obfuscation. Big word I love. I think Debbie taught me that word. Because they drive the conversation. Why are polar bears starving? Yet it's climate change. We need to fight about climate change. Forget the damn polar bear. We don't care about the polar bear. We want to win the climate change debate. No. Let people migrate. Let's save some lives. Journalism is printing what someone else does not want to. Journalism is printing what someone else does not want to. Is it I don't know. I think good journalism, real journalism is printing what people don't know, maybe. What people don't want to print. Makes sense. But we don't have journalism. What do we have? We have acting. We have entertainment. We have corporation-driven topics for obfuscation. Absolutely. RT News contributors have editorial freedom. They do, right, UG? They do to a large extent. And who said that? I forgot which one who said that. There was, I think Abby Martin actually was one, and she walked away from it. Was it the other Jesse Ventura who came out and said, hey, they just said talk. And he said, I turn on my show when I talk. And he just talks, and we have to get back to that. I love RT News. Yes, brother UG, so do I. If you're a journalist who perpetuates a lie, you're not a journalist, you're a propagandist. Thank you, Joan. That's a better word. That is a better word. We call them journalists, but they're propagandists. But you know what? I'm not turning on journalists. I think I'm turning on journalism being controlled by profit and scarcity, right? Because what's the source of the propaganda? You have a lot of good journalists. I think everybody's a human being. And I think at the end of the day, everybody would do good things. But the reality is that if they got to pay a mortgage, you can walk them into doing some really horrible things. If you want to be a journalist, you want a career, you got to do that. But now is the time for walking away from this. And this is why I get on the minimalism. We all have to really dig deep and think about who and what we really are. We have to step past our own mini greed. We can't get rid of big greed. We can't bring about a time of abundance if we keep fueling the greedy companies. if we keep fueling the greed that's behind all of that. You put all the stuff together nicely. No, I don't, Joe. No, I don't, brother Joe. No, I don't. I'm not that bright. I just look at this and I'm like, is anybody seeing like this? This is like obvious. But people way before us have said this for a long time. I just think now we have the internet, we have this international news, and we can put all this stuff together. It's like, wow. Well, I don't even think we put it together. Better yet, Joe, I think it's so obvious. It's so obvious that we can go take pictures of the bears and they're not going to try to eat us. If they have salmon and they got plenty of berry bushes. You want to stop bear attacks? Let me see. We got to do something with the baby thing, because if you get in between the bear and the baby, it's still going to eat you. But that's something different, you know. But eventually, even that would go away, wouldn't it? Why? The only reason the bear attacks is because there aren't enough berry bushes and salmon. What if we started putting salmon all in all the rivers and we started planting berry bushes everywhere? The bears would like lose interest in humans. Humans wouldn't be food anymore. And then what if humans left the bears alone and eventually epigenetics and multi-generational down the road, like a dog, bears became domesticated in the wild. There's really no reason to eat and murder and kill human beings or anything else. The human beings don't mean my cubs any harm, so I don't have to kill it. All the solutions are like right there in front of us, and it's just scarcity. It is so easy. So somebody answer me the question, why do grown adults, intellectuals, people who can read, write, chew bubblegum, and pat their head and rum the tubby at the same time, the tummy, why in the hell do they keep debating the side effects of scarcity like they intend on solving anything? Somebody, because I don't know. Debbie saying progressive is a prime example of true journalism. Yes, Crystal, she is. But there's a reason why Debbie is. Because Debbie doesn't care nothing about your money, honey. That's why. Debbie will go on. She doesn't derive money from industry. She doesn't derive money from trying to make a career out of posting live videos. She lives and she posts videos. So she's free to have her own voice and say whatever she wants. And that's why I gave Debbie yesterday the award of most deleted videos in a day. I think they deleted about 5, 6 of her videos yesterday. 5 or 6 of them. They do not want that woman saying anything true, because she's not beholden to anything but herself, humanity, reading things, doing her own analysis, and spitting it back out. And they got to delete the hell out of that. You can't have you can't have another opinion. You know, and and I'm gonna be realistic. So let's give Facebook a time to talk, and YouTube and Google and the Truth Media in ministry a time to talk. And what is their point? Their point is, well, we need to make sure we need to cramp down on fake news. But if you already know that your media industry promotes fake news, they promote scarcity side effect news, and they're an enemy of the citizens, of the population of the entire planet. We need more Debbies. I think even Ty was calling for it. Even Ty was saying, was it Ty? I think it was Ty. He said, we need more women live streaming. We need more of y'all to step up. We do. We need all perspectives from all people from all countries, because everybody's got a little piece of the puzzle. You know, everyone has a little piece, but everybody's got to speak up or we all won't figure it out. But that's why live streaming is important. It's a discussion. It's not one person talking at you, lying and giving propaganda. It's a community of people saying, yeah, what that person's saying is true. And you hit the like button, you hit the love button. Then we say that person's saying is a lie. And you hit the angry button, you know, but you still are posting. So it's a discussion. It's a collective. Like, this is what I was thinking about. I was thinking about this morning. I was thinking about driving on the road. Because, you know, you got bad drivers on the road. People driving on the road, and they're bad drivers. From a collectivism mindset, are the bad drivers there because they're bad drivers, they're bastards, you need to yell, scream at them, shoot at them? Are they there to tweak your road rage? Or are they there to teach you how to be a better driver? Are they there to make you angry, want to get you to cuss in the morning? Are the bad drivers actually there universally in a collective society to teach you that it's a bad driving school somewhere? that people with bad vision probably need to lose some glasses before they drive, that people need to pay attention when they drive, that people shouldn't be texting and playing on the phone while they're on the road work, you know. And are you discussing that? Or are you trying to solve that? Or are you just trying to make money yelling and screaming at the person who's actually doing that? And that's how living goes. Are people bad at life? Are they there so you can yell and scream at them? Are they living lives based in conflict because it's supposed to get you to conflict with them? Are people who are bad at living there to teach you how to live better? Think about that. Think about that. We are a collective, whether we act like it or not, whether we want to be or not. We're either learning from each other or we're fighting each other. And the media obviously makes a lot of money on us fighting each other from scarcity. That's what I think. I think that the bad drivers and the people who are bad at living, they're not there to teach you how to fight better. They're not there for you to make money off of. They're not there to come about some political strategy and politics to make money off of them being born in a bad place, having bad experiences, and not learning how to drive in life well. That's what I kind of think. All right. I'm gonna end on the bagpipes out of respect for pre-colonization Irish law. More peaceful times. We can get back there. We can get back there anytime we want. Sane is generally right, but she does have some insane opinions, and if you disagree with her topic, poof, she blocks you. Well, I don't like the word sane and insane. I'll say this, that I disagree with everybody. Everybody disagrees with me. And I think that when your platform is big as hers is, it's kind of hard to determine who's disagreeing with you from a respectful perspective and who's disagreeing with you because they're just trolling you and they're being ignorant. Which is why I think the biggest fight is against ignorance. I don't know why Debbie would block you, Ivana. I know that we disagree on things. And I haven't blocked you, but I don't have a big audience like her. I don't have thousands of people watching me. And so she has to kind of keep her room going in a way where it's actually conversation and it's not just people trolling. That's why you you don't feed the trolls, and you got to fight the ignorance and fight ignorance. Get people to talk on a adult level, you know. And so, but that's how it also kind of works that way too, Yvonne. If you can get people angry enough to be stupid on a live stream and yell and scream at the person who's trying to have a conversation and trying to fix things, then good people like you, and Ivana is a good person, good people like you get blocked unintentionally. I will talk to Debbie about you if you would like. Gallon, they looked at your friends list. Oh, I don't know what that was about. I know, right? Good morning, Cindy. We about to go though. Ivana, I've experienced that. I've experienced that with Sane at all, perhaps. She misunderstood the comment. Right, exactly, because everything flows in the room really quickly. And you only have a moment to kind of look, and you know, and it's kind of hard. Y'all see me like struggling to see the eyes. I got all these lights in my face, can't see the small print. Struggling makes it look like I'm illiterate. Probably makes me a target for some things, which is okay because I can handle it. I so miss listening to Debbie. Well, Debbie's back ish. The only problem is you got to watch her live. You can't. They delete all her videos right after. She has no interest in, you know, the propaganda. She's going to give her view and she's going to show what she sees, and they don't like that. They want everything controlled. Facebook attacks on this feed. Yeah, they do. They come after me too. Not as much though, brother Mark, which is why I'm good. But eventually they'll shut me down. That's how it goes. You're not allowed to talk anything different than what the media says. Competitive capitalism. Exactly. That's exactly what they do, Billy. And the funny thing is I came from a libertarian background too. I don't have an issue with free market capitalism. My problem is free market capitalism has never happened and it never will, because it'll always be crony in a world where a few people own everything. So anyway, listen, this is Gerard. I got to get going. Y'all to think about that. Get people focused on scarcity. Get people focused on abundance. Don't let people draw you into conversation about scarcity side effects. That's what billionaires and colonizers use to keep you arguing over things that will never change anything. And it's time that we make a change. Listen, this is Gerard coming to you with his grandpa shirt. Y'all have a great weekend. I love y'all to death. Gotta go. Bye-bye.